I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Oh hey, haven't seen you guys in a while. Hi, my name's Michaela, but you can call me Mick, and welcome back to my channel. Wow, it's been a while since I've said that. Today we're going to chat about my current work in progress, which if you are new to the channel, great. You're gonna get all the information. If you've been here a while, we've made some changes to the project I'm working on. This should be a surprise to no one at this point, but today is a reintroduction to Project House of Bones. And yes, the project got a name change. Project House of Bones has been a book I've been working on for what feels like a decade. The story seeds and ideas have been there, and I've been compiling those ideas for years, and I just decided to finally write it last year. I was making pretty good progress. I quickly realized last year that making YouTube videos about my writing actually was just making me feel like I was writing my book. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I was getting writing done. I guess I was just becoming more of a content creator, I felt like, than a writer. And I wanted to fix that. I would set really lofty writing goals that just didn't make sense for my schedule and where I was with like work and life and everything. So I was constantly failing. And if you guys watched me last year, a lot of my videos are like, hey, my name's Michaela and I completely failed at writing my book, right? 2025 is going to be the year that I finish my debut book. And not just finish draft one. I mean finish 3 drafts and get it query ready by the end of this year. So Project Now House of Bones is actually an adult contemporary fantasy, and it is set to be a duology. It can be a standalone, but man, would that be a crazy cliffhanger to leave people off on. Last year, when I was writing House of Bones, I really just focused on one main character. And that was Helen. Helen has always been my main character. She has a love interest, Kieran. And then we had a lot of side characters, like a lot. When I was writing House of Bones last year, I got up to it was in between 30 to 40,000 words last year. I got pretty far in my draft. And at that time, I had planned it to be like an 80,000 word draft. But I wasn't like anywhere near halfway. I was overwriting the crap out of Act 1, you know? But what I realized and why I was overwriting so much is because other characters were coming to the forefront. And not just Kieran, who's Helen's love interest, but 2 others. So in this draft, we're actually going to have 4 main characters. I know. I've made more work for myself. So who are these lovely characters? We still have Helen, and I'm reading off of my notes. So if you are like, what is she holding? And why is she looking down? It's because I'm reading. So we have 4 main characters now. The main one is still Helen. Helen has done all that she can to just leave this world, this magical world behind that took her mother from her. But she is now forced at the very beginning of our novel to return to this world in order to get a certain drug that helps keep the spirits away. So Helen is like a seer or a medium. There's a specific term in my book for them, but she can see spirits as well as some other really cool things. Helen doesn't like it. Which I feel like I empathize with Helen. Like, if I was able to see spirits, I wouldn't like it either, I think. And they're all trying to talk to you, and she's scared of them. So that's kind of where she's at. So she takes a drug that helps suppress her gifts, and so she doesn't have to see them. Kind of like taking an anxiety pill or depression pill, like medication, to help symptoms of a mental illness. That's kind of how this drug works in my brain. Well, the shipments stop coming for mysterious unknown reason to the reader in the very beginning, and she's forced to go back into the world that she has turned her back on. She's voluntarily made herself an outcast because she doesn't want these magical abilities. She doesn't want anything to do with these people because she lost her mother in this world, and there's a lot of tension, a lot of drama. That's Helen. She is still the main focus, this first book still focuses on her main story, her going back into that world, finding community in that world, uncovering secrets in that world, and ultimately having a really good and then a really, 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 really bad time. I think I torture my characters a little too much in this book. I'm sorry, Helen. She doesn't have a great time at the end, but she does in the middle. In that fun and games section, she's having fun and games. And then we have Kieran, who is Helen's love interest in this book. Kieran is a man who's risen ranks in this mafia-esque family that completely controls the magic supply. When you're not Helen, who has these like natural gifts, other people need kind of like a conduit to perform magic. And so in this world, this family controls that conduit for everyone. They get to pick and choose who it goes to. There's a whole lot of restrictions and hoops you have to jump through in order to get magic, basically. And Kieran works for this family and has risen through the ranks of this family because really, he just needed a job. He needed money. He had no family. And they've given him money. They've given him family, etc. So the matriarch who runs this family, who controls the magic, prefers Kieran over her own son to take over the family business. And Kieran's journey this whole book is he has to decide how far he's willing to go for others' approval, pretty much. How far is he willing to rise through the ranks? How much is he willing to do in order to actually take over this family business to get that approval, or will he ultimately not choose that? So that's kind of Kieran's character arc throughout this whole book. And then we have Figgy. She's not new. Figgy was in the last iteration of this, but she was so minor. She was like mentioned. She had like a couple scenes with Kieran. Not a lot of page time. Not a lot of time in my outline either was dedicated to Figgy. But she just kept tapping on the window like, hey, pay attention to me. And I did, and I love where it's going. So Figgy is the daughter of the matriarch, the only daughter from this family, and she's the only woman in her family that has the power of the sight. So she is a seer just like Helen. And this is huge because this gift does pass down through bloodlines. It mostly passes down through women, and nobody in the Novak family, that's like the family that runs everything, no one in that family has had the sight before. She is the only one to do so. So for the majority of her life, Figgy was locked away. Without giving too much away about my world, the people who have the sight are very powerful, but they are made to feel like they're not. So the matriarch kind of hides Figgy and the fact that Figgy has this power for years and years and years. But at the beginning of our book, she is actually set to re-enter society in order to help her mother do the unthinkable. Dun, dun, dun. So she's actually getting set to re-enter the society to be her mother's like right hand gal, to be her mother's seer. And that is Figgy's plotline, and it marries up with like the overall book plotline as well. I realize this probably doesn't make sense because I'm trying not to give everything away because I want this to be a book that you guys read someday. But hopefully you guys are following along. And then last but certainly not least, another one of my favorites, we have Zoya. So if you've been here a while, you've probably heard of Zoya. In the last iteration, Zoya was Helen's best friend. Zoya was missing, and she was a part of this like cult-like group. Every time I was writing this, I just realized Zoya was so much more than just Helen's best friend. You know, she was getting relegated to that seat of just like the main character's best friend. Zoya's journey is just so much more powerful than that. So in this iteration, Zoya and Helen are not friends. They actually meet later on. But Zoya is a woman who discovered magic on her path to enlightenment, and she now seeks a world where magic can be used by all, but her newfound family isn't what it seems. So Zoya is a part of this, I just call them like a cult-like group there where they believe that magic can be used without this conduit that everyone else uses it with, and that magic should be given to all. She's a big proponent of this group. She's found a family in this group. She feels like she belongs. She meets Helen in this group. And then her and Helen uncover really disturbing secrets from this group. So that's my book in a nutshell. So really, my book has a mafia-like family, ghosts, a cult-like group, hidden magic in the real world, little bit of necromancy, little bit of vampires, and lots of bones, which is why it's now called House of Bones. So my goal for this book is to now finish the first draft, like I said, by the end of April, but really I'm giving myself till May 1st. I'm putting the word count at 70,000 words. I've actually been underwriting this draft quite a bit. Since so much has changed, I'm very much telling myself the story, and I'm not overwriting for like the first time ever in a first draft, which is kind of exciting. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to hit 70,000 words by the end of April. So I'm actually going to quickly go over what changed, some big draft changes that I made. I now have multiple, it's all third person POV, but I'm now following 4 characters instead of 1. I changed it from first person to third, and the climax and the pretty much all of Act 2 and Act 3 changed. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble all about House of Bones, and I cannot wait to share more about this debut book with you guys, about the process, and hopefully soon you guys will be able to hear me say that I finished my first draft. Next week, I'll be going through a writing vlog of just me writing this book and talking a little bit more about the ups and downs of the writing process. Thanks so much for listening, and hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye, writers.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.